people will ask me, is this okay? Is this respectful?
Yes.
And the answer is overwhelmingly from our athletes, absolutely.
Welcome to PIEF Conference 2025. Now, you're speaking today.
We are.
We are. Very
Now,
excited.
I've got Mick and Michelle, so great to have you here. Mick, would you like to introduce yourself to our listeners and viewers?
Love to, Greg. Yeah, so I'm the CEO of Wheelchair Sports, New South Wales and the ACT, and we change lives through sport with the support of GIO.
Love it. And Michelle?
Thanks. So I'm Michelle Bain and I'm the EGM of CTP and Advocacy at Suncorp, and we have the brands GIO, Amy and Suncorp.
Now, your partnership's been going for a few years.
15 years this year.
Years.
Very exciting.
Yeah,
It's very
really
exciting.
Now, you're speaking today at the conference, and just look at your topic, because I'm really interested to know, because you're not speaking until this afternoon, so I haven't had the luxury of listening to you yet, but I'm really interested in creating more impactful futures through community innovation and participation. So what does that mean?
Well, I think it means that sport is what we do, but it's not necessarily why we do it. So Michelle and I actually had an experience together, didn't we, in Dubbo only a few weeks ago, where we launched a new wheelchair basketball club. And I think you were able to see firsthand what the impact of wheelchair sport can have at a community level.
Completely agree. It was my first time actually in a wheelchair playing sport, and it was a beautiful thing to watch everybody, no matter their age, their ability or disability, just having a go together, and just the joy of being able to compete against lots of different people, and the inclusive environment that was there by encouraging everyone to just have a go. And I think that's why at GIO we are really passionate about community, about building community through things like sport, and Wheelchair Sports New South Wales and ACT does a fabulous job in that regard.
Now, Mick, tell me about sport and connection. Why?
Well, it's like anything that brings people together is in a fulcrum for conversations. It's not just the conversation the athletes are having, although you experienced those on the court. This beautiful relationship between Jay and Dicko, and one was 11 years old and one was 75 years old, and they're the best of mates. But in addition to that, it's the conversations that the families have whilst they're watching sport. Mums and dads talking about how are you navigating this aspect of life now with a disability for your child or for that special person in your life. So it's a fulcrum sport. It's the middle, but it creates this sense of community that Michelle talks about, and the conversations that surround it.
And it must be a big leap to go from an injury to being an active member of a sports club, surely. So, what's the pathway? How do people get to that stage to enjoy what is obviously a very strong community?
And the answer is there's loads of different ways that happens.
Yeah.
So we're deeply connected to the rehabilitation network in our work in New South Wales and the ACT. What we do find is that if someone was an athlete prior to an accident, their pathway into sport is much quicker.
Right.
So I guess they generally know the benefits of sport and they're used to that and they want to capture that.
Yes.
And in some ways, the sporting mentality drives the speed. Yeah, so you've got a sporting mindset that you want to get out there, you want to get going again.
Yeah.
And then we have people that it takes a while. There's a lot of other things in life to take on, and change your house and change the way you live. And eventually I'll get to sport. So Greg, to answer your question, there's, a whole range of different ways people come to it. And that was on display in Dubbo last week.
It was. I think if I can just add to that, often we think when someone's had a really bad injury, let's just, get the physical bit right. Let's get them back to life.
Yeah.
And even the psychological is really important. But the thing you see when people actually join a sporting team after acquiring a disability is the joy on their face of actually just being able to have fun, to be included. And it's like sport is such a great leveler, particularly when you're all in a wheelchair. I mean, you talked before about some of the people from Dubbo, and they were way better than me at wheelchair basketball. But I think just, the feeling of achievement, the feeling of having fun and being part of a team together, you can't capture that in any treatment plan, but, building community and actually getting out there and having a go is really powerful.
And there must be some a great power in normalising the fact that you're in a wheelchair, because you're all in a wheelchair.
Well, that's right. In fact, a lot of people who don't live with a disability but come to our team building experiences or have the experience Michelle had with us will ask me, is this okay? Is this respectful for me to do this if I don't need to use that wheelchair? And the answer is overwhelmingly from our athletes, absolutely. In fact, we call that reverse inclusion. So we have people not living with disabilities, a really important part of our community because it helps us make up teams, and you saw that in Dubbo, so that we can have a game. But also, I don't know what your sport is, Greg, but whatever you
Rowing.
there you go. But you would want your friends and family and your mum and dad and your aunties and uncles to join you and participate with you in whatever your sport was.
Absolutely.
And wheelchair sport is no different. So, absolutely. Our athletes say, jump in a chair, have a roll, join us. That's a piece of sporting equipment, and we'd love to have you on board.
Now, describe the partnership. So how does it work between the two of you?
Yeah, so we are really proud at GIO to have been partnering with wheelchair sports for 15 years now. And we get involved in lots of different ways. As Mick said before, recently there was an activation in Dubbo where wheelchair sports is really passionate about supporting regions as well. So we would go out there and we have a really good relationship with Channel 9. So they came and they did the morning show, and we were able to, get a lot of the community to come along. There was sausages and just a really fantastic lot of live feeds where people could see the great work of wheelchair sports and see the lives of people being changed right there on the court. So that's one example. Throughout the year, there's lots of amazing fundraisers that wheelchair sports does, and we like to get behind that. But also when we have people who are injured, who we think would actually benefit longer term from actually being connected, then we will connect through that as well.
Excellent. And how?
Sorry, you go. I was just going to say, sometimes, as Mick said, it's actually really great for people who were involved in sport beforehand to get back involved after an injury. But we know that there's this big connection between positive mental health and sport. So even for some of our claimants who have never played sport, they have got involved in wheelchair sports and really thrive through it. So,
and how big's the program?
So we have 1,863 members as of this morning, and always growing. That's more than 300% increase in the last 5 years alone. So that's what the power of Suncorp and the GIO brand can do. But we're only just getting started, Greg. So lots more people to reach and get involved in wheelchair sport.
Well, thank you so much for being part of our conference this year, and congratulations on a great initiative. It's
Thank you.
Fantastic.
Can we get you in a chair some stage and have a roll with us?
Absolutely.